Let's talk about Jutsu, the identity of the Naruto franchise. Above all else, if you think about Naruto, you think of its awesome jutsu. But I've always found it difficult to rank the techniques in a constructive, systematic way that doesn't end up in a power scaling argument on Reddit. That's until today. To rank these techniques, I have laid out a few criteria to better explain my thought process in how they have not only earned their place on the list, but their individual places on them. Potency. Does the jutsu accomplish what it sets out to do? Aesthetics. How creative is its design and function? Impact. Does the jutsu change the battle it's in such a dynamic and effective way that it cannot be ignored? And the last one I'll call cheater energy. How ridiculous a technique is due to how specifically it was designed to just work. I'm measuring how much ass pull energy any given jutsu gives off. Alright, let's get to business. Sukuna Hikona, Ishiki's signature jutsu is up first, and honestly, it's one of my favorite dojutsu powers to date. It's such a unique and weirdly alien feeling technique, genuinely a perfect fit for the character, and whoever thought of it deserves a lot of praise. What it allows the user to do is shrink objects within their sight, whether those be physical or energy based, down to a level that they become unable to see with the naked eye. The user can also choose parts of an object to shrink down or the entirety of it. Ishiki often shrinks down projectiles and only enlarging them when they're nearly guaranteed to land, or even shrink down himself, becoming nearly an untargetable combatant. And that's really it. But it's such a diverse and powerful toolbox both offensively and defensively that I can't not put it on the list at the number 5 spot. Now, I'm aware that this is only one half of the Kokugan's powers, and without Daikokuten, the user would lose a lot of versatility, but Sukuna Hikona is just that strong. For potency, I'll give this a 3. There aren't any real surprises with the technique that would make this a 4, so we'll leave it here for now. Aesthetics has to be a 4. It's so cool, warping objects and shrinking down to fight at new and unique perspectives. Makes for really dynamic fight scenes. Impact. Yeah, it absolutely shifts the tide of battle and forces those against it to strategize specifically for it. 4 out of 5. And cheater energy. Almost all dojutsu have some cheater energy, but the fact that Ishiki used this to infiltrate the body of Jigen and survive as a parasite in his body is just crazy strong and full of cheater energy. 4 out of 5. Baryon mode is number 4 on the list, and oh boy am I gonna catch a lot of heat for this one. This is Naruto's final tailed beast form, which requires the sacrifice of Kurama to access this amazing power. Taking on a more fox-like appearance than ever before, Naruto gains an incredibly powerful boost to his physical parameters by consuming his and Kurama's chakra as raw materials to create some new type of energy in a process similar to nuclear fusion. The resulting power saw that Naruto surpassed Ishiki for a short time and even catch the previously unguardable black rods that Ishiki uses. Now if it did just that, it'd be a worse version of Kurama Chakra mode due to the heavy sacrifice, but with the way that each blow, while under the effects of this jutsu, drains the life force of their opponent, effectively shortening their life with every single exchange, takes this into stratospheric levels of strength. Baryon mode is one of the most devastatingly powerful transformations in the series, and my one regret in life is that Naruto only unlocked this during the Boruto series, because if he brought this against Madara, I've given this a 3 for potency, due to it having the largest drawback of any jutsu on this list. And despite that, it still earns significant scores for just being that powerful. Aesthetics, I mean, come on, this is just so damn cool. My only negative is that it doesn't change Naruto's appearance from the neck down. He sort of just dons a cloak of chakra. I really wish that its design was more integrated into his body. 3 out of 5. Impact has to be a 5. Do I even have to explain this? And cheater energy. Yeah, this jutsu is kind of ridiculous. Kurama pulled it out of his ass with no development time, and its one unique ability was the perfect counter to the situation they needed it for. An easy 5. Alright, rounding us into the top 3 is Boruto's newest jutsu, Rasengan Uzuhiko. If this placement is a bit confusing, let me explain. This Rasengan variant was introduced to us early on in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, which is Boruto's equivalent to Shippuden, and absolutely rocked from the first moment it was utilized. Boruto gathers a form of planetary energy through his feet while he charges this jutsu, forming a sort of vortex of chakra around his form to represent the spiraling energy that this jutsu is composed of. Alone, this aura that forms around Boruto acts as a deterrent and an amplification to his normal offensive measures by being able to transfer this energy to an opponent, causing them extreme disorientation and opening them up for further attacks. If Boruto launches this jutsu directly, he forces an incredible amount of this destructive planetary energy into his opponent, causing an eruption of devastation in a massive area, tearing the target apart and effectively disintegrating them. If the target were to survive, the vertigo-like effects that this jutsu causes are said to be permanent, leaving them in a perpetual state of disorientation forever, and effectively neutralizing that target. What puts this jutsu so high on this list, even though we haven't seen it in its full power, is Boruto stating that given enough time, the jutsu has limitless destructive power. So with all that in mind, let's talk about rankings. For potency, this jutsu has had 2 uses so far, and it completely decimated both of its targets. Though, due to there being inconclusive information on its upper limit, I'll give it a 4. Aesthetically, I love this jutsu. The overall creativity with pseudosciences, the intimidating aura, and how it doesn't just deal physical damage, but instead incorporates some kind of internal damage, much like the Hyuga's Gentle Fist, making this an easy 4 out of 5 for me, only missing out on the 5 out of 5 because it's ultimately just another Rasengan. Impact, this is a fight ender, the trump card jutsu that blows away every single opponent. It makes Boruto into an absolute threat that cannot be ignored. If you give him enough time, his ceiling of power is limitless, 5 out of 5. And finally, Cheater Energy. It is sort of just a Rasengan, but the fact that it not only does enough damage to one-shot top-tier threats like Hidari with physical damage, but also permanently affects the target with debilitating vertigo forever, changing how that combatant operates permanently, 4 out of 5. Alright, before we hit the runner-up, if you're enjoying this video, let me know in the comments and I'll do another one like this, going over 5 more broken jutsu in Boruto. Karma, the protagonist package. It does everything the show needs it to and more. It's the welcome to godhood, the jutsu. Let's talk about it. Karma is an Otsutsuki seal that does 3 major things. First, it allows the user to implant a seal onto a vessel, at which point the genetic code for the Otsutsuki is downloaded into that vessel for later reincarnation. This can be done an infinite number of times. The other 2 effects happen to the vessel. They are gifted with the abilities of the Otsutsuki that implanted the seal onto them, be it combat experience, unique jutsu, chakra absorption, and the ability to travel interdimensionally at will, all while buffing their physical attributes to incredible levels. Implanting this onto any fodder character would immediately make them into a serious threat that needs to be dealt with. The reason why I call this the protagonist package is due to how mysterious and vaguely it's written, allowing the writers to continuously introduce new effects to either get their protagonist out of any sticky situation, or set them up to be in TikTok edits with Japanese funk booming through the speakers. Obviously, potency is a 5 out of 5. It has so many effects that are constantly being revealed, while also providing a very firm framework of infinite reincarnation. Aesthetics is the one place I'll dock points, because it's sort of just a boring seal, but with the partial transformations that the user can take, forcing the fused genetics to show themselves is pretty awesome. And creatively, making the Otsutsuki into a parasitic species that body snatch is crazy creative and terrifying. 4 out of 5. Impact. This is the core of the original Boruto series. The entire plot revolved around this jutsu and its consequences. Easy 5 out of 5. And finally, Cheater Energy. No jutsu is a greater cheat code than this nonsense. Infinite reincarnation? Done. Complete and utter ninjutsu counter? No problem. Interdimensional fast travel? Sure, why not? 5 out of 5. This leaves us at number 1, Omnipotence. There's no question that this is the strongest jutsu in the entire Naruto Boruto-verse. In fact, for some reason whilst writing this, I physically couldn't write or think of anything bad about this technique, or the goddess who wields it. Just a complete mystery. Obviously, Omnipotence is going to be on the top of this list. This is the jutsu that is the blatant definition of godhood. Not godlike or anything of the sort. Godhood. The jutsu does anything and everything on a planetary scale. Do you remember how much effort Madara and Obito went through to cast Infinite Tsukiyomi? How much they sacrificed, the lives snuffed out, the village-wide raids they needed to carry out, spanning decades of time and multiple wars? Well, imagine if they needed to do none of that and still achieve the same effects. Well, this is that. I have nothing else to say about this jutsu. Let's move on to the rankings, and oh boy, I bet you're going to be extremely surprised. Potency, it's Omnipotence, 5 out of 5. Aesthetics? Ada is the most beautiful creature in all existence, and I love her, 10 out of 5. Impact, this jutsu is the reason for the plot of Two Blue Vortex, 5 out of 5. And Cheater Energy, which for this instance shall be named Goddess Ada's Perfect Essence.
It should have been me, not him!
It's the easiest 5 out of 5 plot convenient ass pull jutsu in the entire series, and nothing will ever top it. Full stop, period, we're done. So here are our rankings. I think I've remained completely unbiased and objective throughout this process, and of course I know you'll agree. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, do the YouTube stuff please. I'd appreciate not being stuck in purgatory forever. Peace.